So, welcome to the second episode of Beneath the Kotatsu. I'm James with my co-host On. On, say hi.
Uh, Hello everybody.
For this week, we're going to talk about some of our personal favorite epic moments of anime, the type of moments that you just can't live without, that you keep on revisiting. What would you say defines a good epic moment for you?
A good epic moment for me would be something that that you're literally just doing something random. That moment pops up in your head, and you have to like go onto YouTube and search up that moment, or your day is just gonna be ruined. It's it's that moment where it is so good. It's so good. It's like I need to watch it again, or I'm not gonna be satisfied.
For me, an epic moment would be like to know about something about me. I don't really rewatch anime ever. I'm a one and done kind of guy, unless if
hmm
it's an epic moment. So if I go back and watch it and I feel the same goosebumps that I felt that first time that I did, that's top shelf.
it's rare. It's very rare to find those moments where you actually want to go back to that one moment because you're cutting out all the context. It's just that one moment by itself is just very good. Um, overall, you don't find many of these in animes. Like, yeah, there are very many epic moments, like good epic moments in anime. Um, like let's take One Punch Man.
Right.
Like that for that whole anime, several parts were very good. But there's like he's One Punch Man. He one punches things. It's a give and take. So it kind of removes that epicness away from most of the scenes because he has that type of power and it happens so often. But when we're talking about epic moments, we're talking about moments that just kind of stand out, that is beyond beyond the normal. Um, what would be like? Give me one of your favorite epic moments from an anime,
Okay,
James.
so this is my one of my earliest favorite anime moments. Do you remember when Goku first pulled off the Super Saiyan against Frieza a long time ago when we were kids?
Uh, I do remember that, not because not because I couldn't forget it. It's because that moment dragged on so long. It kind of stuck in my head.
You know, it's also another reason why it's stuck in my head, because that's literally the only thing they would ever play on WB in the morning before going to school. Frieza Saga, Vegeta Saga over and over again on repeat.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, I
I
swear I've
definitely
seen
know
it
what you
like
mean.
4 times in a row already. But anyways, I remember distinctly putting the audio on the television all the way max and like putting my freaking, eye corneas to the CRT monitor screen and like, oh my god, I need this imprinted in my soul each and every time.
You need this.
It was
You need to
so
hear
good.
his
Like
screaming
I
to the
still feel
max.
the same thing when I feel when I see that scene.
Wait. Going back to the part where they replay that scene over and over. This has nothing to do with the epic moments, but do you recall them playing the same Cowboy Bebop episode over and over where they eat the mushrooms?
I mean, that was there's only 12 episodes. They repeated Cowboy Bebop like endlessly. They still show
N-
it to this day, I think, on
no.
Toonami.
I swear to God, they replayed that episode more often than they played any other episode. I remember that episode, and then right under that episode was probably the casino episode, and then the first episode. I don't know why they played that mushroom episode over and over. It just stuck in my head. It's not like at that point it feels kind of like an epic moment to me. It's like just them eating mushrooms and tripping out the whole time. And I'm like, why are they playing this over and over? It's basically like them playing like the first arc of Inuyasha over and over. I don't even know what happens at at the very end of the first season because they never played it.
You know what it is? It's probably because that's a best gateway entry for normal people into anime and even Cowboy Bebop. Just, wacky first episode. It wasn't even the first
Maybe.
episode. It was like the third or the fourth one, something like that.
Yeah, it was a couple of episodes, and I just remember I was like, why are they playing this over and over? But yeah, I do have to say that that first Spirit Bomb was pretty epic.
And
Or
the
no,
Super
that
Saiyan.
first
Both of them,
the Super
really. The
Saiyan,
whole shebang.
the whole
The
arc.
whole arc.
Yeah, the whole arc was very good, very good. I really did enjoy it. I like for the love of me, I can't picture it in my head.
Hmm
just because it dragged on so long. I think that's what kind of diminished it a little bit for me. Was that like like it you know that Dragon Ball Z animes drag on very long. Like it's a meme at this point that
It was
like
certainly a meme back then, even before
oh
we
it's still
used
a
the
meme now.
internet.
It's still oh yeah, most definitely. But yeah, I did enjoy that part.
What's
Uh
your first favorite epic moment in anime?
like my very first epic.
Yeah.
Let me think. Let me think. Okay. I'm gonna hit you with a One Piece one. I'm gonna hit you with a One Piece one. It's gonna be this the scene in One Piece where it's the arc where they're trying to the island in the sky, and Luffy's trying to get his ship uh ready to be able to fly or something like that. I can't recall it, but I recall this scene very specifically where he's at this like dock location, kind of in the middle of nowhere. Him and Zolo uh uh are basically just chilling in this bar, and like all these people call him out. This guy comes in and it's like, hey, look at these guys. They have bounties way bigger than yours. And like all these guys are like playing it off like, yeah, no, that's probably fake. Near the end of that arc, he has a fight out with this guy named Bellamy, which is like the big bad guy.
I remember
He's no,
Bellamy from later seasons, but I entirely skipped the first 300 episodes of One Piece.
okay, okay. So basically, what happens is that Bellamy calls him out for being like stupid and whatever, like trying to find this island in the sky that probably doesn't even exist. And Bellamy's been teasing him for like this like entire arc, and Luffy knows he's stronger than him, but he doesn't want to do anything because he wants to be he wants to be the good guy. He doesn't want to start a fight or anything. So he's egging him on, and then Bellamy goes into this. Does he have the same like spring power? Does he have
Yeah, he
in the
does
later
in the
episodes?
Dressrosa
Okay,
arc.
okay. So he goes into his spring power. He literally hops around the town like a crazy man, getting ready to fight Luffy. Um, and and this is the best part. He's like, "Do you even know how to throw a punch?" Like he says that like during the middle fight. Luffy's literally just standing there in the middle of town while he's jumping around like a crazy madman. And there's this part where he just kind of disappears because he's moving so fast. The best part is Luffy replies back, uh, and he says, "Do you you asked me if I knew how to throw a punch?" He clenches his fist and literally swings at the air and hits Bellamy in the face.
Oh, jeez, I think I actually saw that in flashbacks from the Dressrosa arc.
Oh yeah, he smashes him in the face. The guy gets knocked out in one hit, and that was it. That was the whole scene. The entire town is literally just standing there,
Pin needle
like,
drop.
oh yeah, definitely. And they're like, yeah, that's a joke. That's a joke, Bellamy. Get up. Why are you on the floor? And then this one crazy guy's like, I told you guys it was true. I told you. And he has the bounty papers in his hand, and the whole town literally just goes crazy and starts running away. That scene was one of the best scenes ever for me in One Piece. It's a minor like okay, there's a billion awesome fights
Right.
in One Piece. I can't deny that. But something about that scene, it it just hits like that punch. That punch was so
That
good.
one
I
punch.
don't it it's literally like the best one punch
That one
I've
punch.
ever seen.
You
Yeah.
know
Oh my
something
god.
else about One Piece I really appreciate? I feel like they have some of the best reactions from characters seeing stuff like eyes popping out, mouth wide open type of stuff, tears coming out. There's like, oh my god, like very Looney
I think
Tunes.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's also what really makes a really good awesome scene is the reaction from other characters. If you wouldn't have that, most scenes wouldn't be as good. But when you have the reactions from other characters, that just intensifies. Like you're in that same space as them. You're reacting with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like half the time, my favorite part of a lot of these scenes are seeing the reactions of the characters. Like, oh my god, did these people not see this type of stuff? Like, imagine if, uh, when Goku went Super Saiyan, if he had spectators around.
I mean, technically he didn't, right? Besides Frieza, because everyone was like half passed out.
Yeah, I think King Kai might have been watching too, but
Oh
that's
yeah,
just him.
right. I mean, I think that's what makes Dragon Ball so good is because when they're powering up, you can feel that shockwave like literally everywhere, and everyone's reacting to it. I I think it was the fight between him and I think it was either um Cell or was it Boo that I think it was like going Super Saiyan 2. Like Super Saiyan 2 was like the craziest thing ever because everyone was like what's that floating castle, floating house thing called? I don't remember where everyone like trains at,
I
but
know what you're
they
talking
have their
about.
eyes closed. Yeah, they have their eyes closed and they're feeling the power and they're like, "Oh my god, what's happening? What's literally going on?" I think that's what makes a good like scene is those reaction moments. They're just very so hard to beat.
Exactly. So
Oh yeah.
for my next favorite anime epic moment, I think uh, ping pong animation, a lot less action. But there's this
Right.
first scene where these two guys, Peko and Wang, face off. Wang's pro ping pong player. Uh, he's from high school, of course. That is from China. He gets booted off the team and sent
Mhm.
to Japan. I just guess as a punishment, maybe. I don't exactly remember why they sent him over there, but he goes up against this. You know when you go to the arcade and all the kids are talking about, oh my god, dude, this kid's the best. Like he's the best Street Fighter
Right.
player character. And then you bring your buddy with you from school who's actually like been in tournaments and stuff like that and completely mops the floor
Right.
with everybody. Like everybody just in shock. Wang is
It's like when you invite your pro tournament friend to like a small like smash tournament
exactly
like held by your friend and then he just wipes everyone. It's like, "What is this? What is this going what's going on?"
exactly. So that's basically what happened. It was in an empty gymnasium. Uh, Peko just butts in and is like, all right, I'm gonna fight this guy. I'm gonna show him how much better I am than he is. And Wang is just like,
Okay.
oh man, the whole time he's just, what the, just garbage. He's just so frustrated at the skill level being so low compared to him.
Right.
And the best part of that scene was his anguish and feeling like, am I in hell? Why am I here? Like this very frustration, and the animation even makes it better. But that's just
Uh
one of the best moments I've seen
I
in.
think Ping Pong really does have such good animations. I forgot the director's name, but he's been directing a lot of um anime, and all his all the anime he's direct, all the animations have been like a different art style, and I kind of like that. I think that's the reason. Okay, so we're talking about different animations, right? I want to go into one of my favorite scenes,
Where,
from Eye Shield 21.
oh baby,
It's it's the Devil Bats versus the Ryu Dragons. The very final touchdown, where they need to. So they have a chance to either kick the field goal and tie and go into what's it called when they go into the tiebreaker when they go into a tiebreaker
yeah, I don't really watch
or
football. I watch
yeah.
Ice Shield 21, not football.
So basically they can kick the field goal to go into a tiebreaker, or they can run the ball to win the game.
Touchdown.
um right, and usually you'd be like, okay, well, take the tiebreaker because that's safer to do. But at this point, the main character Senna, his feet are pretty much broken. He can't run anymore. Um, so he's like, okay, well, I don't know what you want to do, but tell me what you want to do. And and to set this up, basically they were gonna kick the ball, but of course they don't kick the ball. They're gonna run. Of course they're gonna run the ball for that touchdown.
Hail Mary.
And yeah, well, no, it's not a hail mary.
Oh, Hail Mary's like
So
your last your last play, your last shot.
no. A Hail Mary is basically when you throw the ball, when you need to throw the ball really, really far to get that first down.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. So for them, they need um. So he snaps the ball. Ball goes in the air. Senna catches the ball, and he's flying. He's flying across the goal line, and the two big bad guys they're like, okay, no, we're not letting this happen. And the reason why this scene is so good
Why?
is not because of the main character, it's the side character. The side character, Krita, he single handedly pushes back their entire team. And what makes this scene so epic is that it goes from this like 12 frame per second to like the most amazing 1 million frames. Uh, like you know when a scene is epic when all the color is gone. When they fade out the color and go back into just black and white.
Yeah,
I think that's what makes.
there's a term for that, for the point where the animation upticks dramatically. I forget what it
Right,
was called. I could look it up really quick.
right. Yeah. Go ahead and look it up. But while I keep explaining, but that scene to me is just it's seared into my head. That was such a good scene because like that's his move, the Funraba, where he kind of
That's
musters up
yeah,
his
that's his
his
yeah,
signature.
that's
Yeah,
like
his signature huff.
when karate practitioners or any other martial arts practitioner do audible stuff, or like when weightlifters grunt to let out that extra power for the
Right.
Funraba.
The
Funraba. Yeah,
Funraba.
you saw the
He.
flames in his eyes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so
It.
good.
I can still picture that entire moment just because it was just out of nowhere. Like
He
like
basically
up and
became a titan.
oh, and keep in mind they've never done anything like this, and this was like I don't remember how many episodes, but this has to be over 50, like 50 plus episodes, and they haven't, maybe over 100 if I recall, but they've done this, they haven't done this throughout any of the other episodes, and he just like pushes their entire team back by himself, and that just makes this scene so good for me. I don't know why. It's such a great
And
scene.
going back to that term, that the term was sakuga. It's a term used in anime to
Sakuga.
describe moments in a show or a movie where the quality of the animation improves drastically.
Oh, it's so good. Okay. Enough with my football stuff. What about you? What other part did you like?
Of Ice Shield 21 or just
No,
any
no, not
anime?
Ice Shield. Yeah. What's another favorite moment of
Okay,
yours?
remember that one really trashy isekai anime with this kid? He's huge mecha freak before he dies in the first episode. Gets reborn as this kid Ernest. Eventually, learns enough about how mechs in this world work to be able to create his own. Do you remember that scene where they're having
Whoa,
a
wait.
like an
Uh,
exhibition and he's
so the name of the anime was Knights and Magic,
oh,
right?
my bad. I might have skipped
Yeah.
over that. I
Can
got
you give
wrapped
me
up
the
in it.
can you can you give me the name of the main character, the full name of the main character?
Ernest? That's like the only thing that I remember about him. That's how forgettable the show was.
I don't know why, but I distinctly remember his last name because it was so stupid. It was Ernest S. Chevalier, something like that.
Oh, that's right, it was. It was super over the
It,
top.
yeah, it was like extra. It was S. Chevalier something something something,
Didn't he
and I
have
was
like
like,
high
okay.
standing in that society too? Just by default?
Um, I wouldn't say like he was a noble, but he wasn't like top tier noble. But
Maybe like a
technically you could
baron
say he
or
was
something like that, or a duke type of
something
standing?
like that.
No, okay.
I remember he was granted like an even higher title, so it doesn't even
Well,
matter.
yeah, he
Doesn't
was a
even matter.
freaking money maker. He was like the Kingdom's Nintendo DS. He was their Skyrim.
He-
But yeah, that
uh,
scene where they're having an exhibition match. I don't even remember the the story behind the scene, but he creates these entirely new concepts for mechs. One was a flying one, which didn't even exist in that world before. The other one was a uh, horse mech that carried other mechs into battle with it. And like just
yes.
watching, going back to the One Piece, the reactions of other characters making the scene, giving it that
Oh
umami,
yeah.
the salt based sprinkles onto the meat.
Right.
The bad guys or whoever they were like, oh, I just moved my pawn into d5 or whatever. I don't play chess, but he's like, it's checkmate from the start. And then he sees the new Max come in, oof, all styling, profiling. Just Ernest is like, "Oh, I see you move your pawn. Here, let me push aside the chessboard, bring in a new chessboard. We're playing uh, chess on a different
Warhammer.
chessboard now.
Let me bring in my Warhammer pieces on this
Yeah,
chessboard.
let's split. You like my Monopoly houses? You like my Uno card? Completely new
Reverse.
game.
You just got reversed.
You just got reversed. What's this? We're playing Connect Four now. Look, you like my Yu-Gi-Oh card? I got a Exodia piece right here in the corner. That's how like bonkers it was. It was just so delicious, and they wiped the floor with
It
them.
was out of nowhere, and I do distinctly remember this because I love that anime. I love that anime, and the thing is that it's that anime kind of came out of nowhere, and it is a filler anime. It's
Absolute filler.
100% a filler anime that shouldn't have been as good as it
It's what
should
you
have
watch
been.
when you have nothing else to watch.
Not even. It's something you watch
You're chasing the
when you're
dragon.
doing something else. When you're doing something else. When you're working on some cheats, when you're filling out numbers, something like that. It's some background. But oh my gosh, I was glued to
The
that
type of
anime so much.
anime that you switch to dubs for, so you don't have to look
Uh,
at the screen. Knowing us, we
I
don't know Japanese that well.
I don't want to agree, but I can't. I have to agree with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to agree with that. I remember I remember the reaction because in like when they brought out the right before they brought out the mechs, there was like a three-part reaction. The first part was the noise the old guy that was in charge of the veteran team.
Yeah.
He's like, what is that noise? I've never heard that noise before because that horse mech, it makes like a, of course, like the horse, like the clopping sounds. He's like, I've never heard of a mech make that noise before.
The
So that was the
speed
first
of
part.
it too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. The second part reaction was when the horse comes in. He does that circular run around the
Kind of
field,
like when
and he's like,
people start going into the jousting arena, right?
right, exactly. No, like when they're getting ready for a chariot match or
That
something.
too.
It's like some kind of Roman chariot. Yeah, yeah. And then the third part was when they disconnect the little chariot thing behind the horse and like more mechs come out of it. I'm like, this is the trifecta. This is the moment. This is what I've been waiting for. Like, not only was the entrance good, the battle was just as good as well.
And the thing about they made it good even with, sluggish 3D moving mechs. It wasn't the best designed mechs, but the moment was so distinct that it stood out.
You know what? I That's one of the animes where I didn't even notice the 3D. Like, I know it was in 3D, but you kind of expect to be mech animes to be in 3D, so I didn't mind it. It 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 kind of
I actually
uh
forgave it because the type of mechs that they were, it made sense that they would move a little bit slower than they should. Like that
right.
like Gundam
I
mechs
mean,
move.
the enemy mechs move slow, and that makes sense. That very first part where the fight begins, Ernest blasts off towards the enemy team with his rocket launchers, and I'm like, what's going on? He literally takes his queen and slams it across the board and takes out even like one of the enemy
Yeah, like a
teams. Like,
bishop.
he knees him right in the face.
Exactly.
Knees him right in the face, and he's like, "Okay, your move. There you go. What do you want?" Um,
And he's like, I'm sorry,
ah,
what? You know that gif of the blonde guy shaking his head in surprise, like, what the heck just happened? That's the type of reaction it was. It was so good.
it was so good. I don't know how to explain this scene to anyone. Like, I feel like you could literally just search up this scene on YouTube, like, out of context, and it's still good. It's still very good.
Speaking
I
of
think the
out of context scenes, I know you haven't seen Darker Than Black, but I wanted to mention it just really quick. Uh,
Okay.
so there's this one scene, you could even Google it up, like I said, out of context, where the main character, Hay, is in an airport dressed as a janitor, as you do when you're sleuthing around, trying to be
Right.
inconspicuous in the middle of enemy territory. Uh, and then he walks around his next to his target. The music, I love this scene so much. I even know the title of the track. It's called Galaxy Train. So good. He punches her in the gut. Of course, you don't see the punch in the gut. It's off screen, but like you can see him looking at her with like your mind, like I'm a cat looking at a fish in a lake. That's like one of those ice cream tubs, like a gallon of ice cream, and there's just a fish in there. It's a fish in a
Right,
barrel.
right.
Yeah. So, anyways, he punches her. The music starts playing. It's like a bunch of EDM, whatever type of music it is. They
Hmm.
hear the chick go down, and he's like running out to the airstrip, and he straight up steals a bus, and that begins a vehicle chase uh, with a semi 18 wheeler, and there's just like a planes launching off in the background. Hayes like driving, and it's just everything. Like the music takes it up because like the whole anime season, it was Darker Than Black season 2. He's not really doing much of anything. He doesn't have any powers or anything like that. And the thing about Hay is he was a badass even before he had powers. So it's just
It sounds like you almost described like a James Bond movie to
that's
me.
basically what it was. It really was. You know what it was? It
Oh
was
my
like
gosh.
it reminded me a lot of the movie Speed. Do you remember the movie Speed?
What was the main character? I think I
It was a
remember, but
Keanu
who's the main
Reeves. I think
character?
Sandra Bullock was in it.
Yeah, I think I kind of recall it. Yeah.
The one where they had to go above 33 miles per hour. It wasn't. It was by no means a fast car chase.
It, it was what was it's the one with the bus, right? Yeah.
Yeah, bus.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I remember.
That's basically the type of scene that it was, and it was just cherry on top.
It blew you away.
Yeah, blew me away. I
Well,
still go back
going
to
back to
that.
the mechs, going back to the mechs and the reaction. Okay, I I want to talk about one of the best mechs anime ever, and it has to be Gurren Lagann.
Okay.
Um, and there's this scene that has stuck in. Okay, there's so many epic scenes in Gurren
Yeah,
Lagann.
Gurren
It's so
Lagann
hard to
was
choose them,
epic
right?
scene the anime.
Yeah, it's basically epic scene the anime. The one scene that stood out to me the most, and I don't know why. I don't know why this scene stuck out to me so much. Was when they were it was during like the very ending fight. It was during
Right.
the very ending fight, and they were trying to shoot all these missiles and all these attacks at the enemy, and none of them were hitting. Because their attacks, the enemies had this like special field that negates these attacks,
Like an
right?
AT
That
field.
basically like an AT field. So whenever they powered up, they went to like their next form. I forgot that it was like two of the minor characters. They shoot out these missiles, and the missiles miss, right?
Right.
But on the radar it says, "Oh, it hit the enemy," and the enemy's like, "What the hell is going on?" And the guys were like, "Yeah, we just invented probability missiles. Even if they miss, they have 100% chance of hitting." And I'm like, "What the hell is this? This is awesome."
Which character made those?
It was like two of the minor characters. I don't remember their name. It was like the twins.
Oh man,
It was the
I
twins.
remember so
I
much
don't.
from Gurren Lagann. Like I don't remember a lot of their names.
There were so many characters. That's the reason why you can't remember. Like, yeah, you can remember like the main characters, but I can't remember any of the minor characters. But oh my god, that scene just stuck out to me so much. Like out of all the scenes, like they're hurling galaxies at each other, but like those scenes were memorable. Of course, they're memorable. But the part where it's like, yeah, we just shot probability missiles at them. I'm like, probability missiles? This is when you know this fight just went up another notch. Like when you're like taking out enemies from the future and the past, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what makes this scene so epic. Probability missiles? Yes, I need more of
Did they
these.
explain
This is
how they
awesome.
created them? I don't remember that.
So if I recall correctly, their explanation for any of this is that they have a lot of spiral power.
Oh, if you wish it, it'll happen. Kind of like
Yeah, if
angels
you
in the
wish it, it will
outfield. If
happen.
you build it, they will come. If you shoot it, it will hit.
Oh my gosh, I actually remember that movie too. That was a great
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, I remember the tagline more than anything.
Oh my gosh. Okay, okay, okay. Enough about Gurren What about you? What's
All right.
another good epic moment for you?
I know you haven't watched JoJo's, and it's a travesty. In JoJo's Part 2, uh, there's these Nazis in like a Mayan temple, Aztec temple, something like that. And they're,
Mm-hmm.
the common story where they were doing archaeological digs to find, artifacts of power. So these guys actually do find artifacts of power, and there's these three men encased in stone, well, full stone. This dude accidentally activates one of the men. His name's Wamu. He breaks out of the stone. The famous JoJo's color change hits. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the best music starts playing. I don't know how to describe it aside from Aztec dubstep. He,
I remember. I've seen enough clips to where I know exactly what song you're talking about.
yeah, it's so good. I love it. It's my favorite. He links. He basically pulls a Yuri on Ice. He like skates across the stone, links all the soldiers' fingers and arms together, and he
Hmm.
like touches the last one and sucks up all of their life, and they just fall into like empty clothes on the ground, except skin and all. And then he goes up back to his two homies on the wall. He gives that famous, what was it? Mezame tamae wagaru tachiyo. And he awakens the cars and the other guy, I can't remember his name for the life of me. And that's like best shoujo scene.
It kind of reminds me of that one scene. Was it Berserk where it's like you're already dead and the guy
No,
goes Nani?
that's Fist of the North Star.
Oh, Fist of the North Star. Yeah, kind of reminds me of that where he has that tagline.
Exactly. That's the type of scene it was.
Oh my gosh, that does sound. I okay. So I do have JoJo set on my watch
Just
list
part
now.
two. Part two is worth it. Part two is
I heard
standalone.
part one wasn't very good. I heard part one wasn't very good. Part two and three were very like anything after part three is amazing. Part two and three were pretty decent, and
My
part one
favorite.
wasn't very good.
So I watched part one and part two in anime, and I watched the rest of it in. I didn't even watch anime. I read the manga up
Hmm.
till part five.
Right.
All right, and
Huh.
moving on. What other epic anime do you have?
um. Keeping on with the robot train I was going on. One of my favorite scenes was from Eureka 7. Uh, it's the very first. It was some of the very first, like between one and third episode, if I recall correctly. Where he has to go save Eureka, and the only way he can do this is he has to board across this giant battlefield, and and he does so he's floating along this wind current, and this robot gets right in his face. This enemy robot gets right in his face, and he's about to die. Except he pulls off the most amazing kickback drop turn, which is like the most like the hardest move in hoverboarding.
Basically, the Tony Hawk 900.
Exactly. And then the music hits. The
Oh, I
music
remember
hits.
that music.
The
I listened to that OST so much I could tell you the name of that right now. It's called Storyteller. Is the title of the track.
yeah, and it's basically like the music has a bunch of chops in it. And I at first I thought I was like when I first watched it on TV I was like is my audio broken? Like is the TV broken? Because I've never heard of such choppy music in anime.
It was your first
The
experience of it, wasn't it?
oh yeah, it was like of course like Eureka's like all these old animes you like I remember watching them on TV and it just felt it like the music hit and the part with the skyfish. He does the kickback drop
Dude,
turn
even
drop.
Holland sees it. Going back to One Piece and their reaction, Holland sees his own signature move being pulled off.
Right. Yeah, that's why I think that part was so good, is because you have the trifecta. You have something awesome that happens. You have the amazing music in the background, and then you have other characters reacting to it. I think that's like the perfect trifecta of what makes a good epic
You know,
scene in
you know what I
anime.
also love? Like, he's It's because they built it up. He's like carrying around his Gecko State magazine or whatever it was called, and
Right,
all the
right, right, right.
photographer for the freaking magazine sees it too, and his friend. Oh, so good.
I remember because the photographer is there too, and he's snapping photos in the other mech, and he's like, "Oh my god, he just did your move. How do you feel about that? He just did your
They
move."
probably wrote a lengthy column after that.
I remember that part being so epic because Holland did that when he was like a teen or something, and he did the move when he was young, like he's even younger. So I think that's what makes that part so epic. And the follow up to that moment was when he drops inside the mech to save Elreka. He does the move again inside the mech, and I'm just blown away how awesome that scene was.
Whole nother
Like,
level is what he says when
oh
he
my
drops his
gosh.
mic in there.
Okay, okay, enough about
All right.
mechs. Give me something that's not mech related.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about Meg. Oh, jeez. So, did you watch that show Megalobox? That
I I did.
okay? I believe that's was the anime it was based off of Ashita no Joe or something like that.
How old was Megalobox? Like, how old is
3
Megalobox now? Like
years,
2 years
four
old, right?
years at
3
most.
years?
No more than three.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
By the way, one of the best ending themes. Kakate Koyo.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. You had a really good ending theme.
Absolutely. So,
Uh, okay, go ahead.
favorite scene of that entire show, which made me fall in love with it. It's when Joe goes on his motorcycle to meet up with Yuri and the lady from the Shirato group.
Okay.
They face off for the very, like the definitive moment of the show. And like the music hits, the rain goes slow. You know when the rain slows down.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's when,
Of course.
you're in the big leagues. They look at each other, they take the stance, they look in each other's eyes. Yuri looks like a ravenous dog, absolutely hungry for a T-bone steak, and then he gets called off. And that just, you remember that gif of, well, it was a clip from Code Geass where this chick with glasses goes absolutely bonkers and like loses her
Yes,
mind.
of course. Yes, I recall that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's was my exact reaction. So it's like, oh, why would you do such a thing? But they're just two
Oh
dogs
my gosh.
fighting. That's the whole. One's a trained dog, one's a stray dog. They're dogs.
Right. If I recall correctly, this was like in the middle of like a highway, right?
It was on unfinished highway. They were at the very edge of it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, I remember. I remember.
And the
Yeah,
reason
like,
why they you know almost throw fists is because Joe absolutely disrespected the lady from Shirato Group. He slapped the card out of her hand. He's like, I don't want that garbage. I'm a real
oh,
boxer.
was she trying to bribe him, right?
She was trying to get them to join their league and like fight with gear or something like that.
Right, and he wants to be the only boxer to fight with no gear at all.
Exactly. He wants to feel free.
Right, right, right. Okay, okay, okay.
Eh,
For that, I do recall that. It's not a big part that sticks out to me in because it's such a short anime. I don't recall it that well, but I do remember that moment.
Megalobox was
And
definitely one of those animes that I've watched multiple times.
really, I've I've seen it once, and it's like one of the animes where I don't know if I could come back to it because yeah, it has that one good moment, but there's not that much throughout the whole anime that kind of keeps me going to keep watching it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay. Give me another good epic moment for you.
For me, do you remember when let's keep the theme of fighting, these big match
Okay.
moments. Uh,
Okay.
do you remember when Byakuya and Ichigo first went off?
Oh yes, I do. I
Yeah,
do.
exactly. When they
The
trade
first the first
Bankais,
Bankai. The first
the first
Bankai.
and
Yep.
second
Yep. Yep.
Bankai. Oh man, that was so good. Do you remember when he lets Senbon Zakura down and his Bankai pops up uh all the blades and the pedals? The only thing that was missing in Soul Society was like posters for that fight. It was so good. It was hype.
Um. The what I really like the about Byaku's Bankai is the way they set it up. it was so like okay, so his bankai is his sword turning into a bunch of petals, cherry blossom petals, and they're like as sharp as a knife. Uh, and everything he does is very beautiful, and his bankai, the way they set it up, his bankai is very beautiful, where a bunch of these swords pop out behind him, like kind of like in an
Pure
arc,
elegance.
and then yeah, and then in an instant they all turn these petals and they fly across the screen. I think I really love that moment. I love that moment because he's staring at Ichigo. Ichigo's into Bankai. He charges up, goes into Bankai, and Byakuya, like, of course we have to talk about the reaction. Byakuya looks at Ichigo's like, that's no Bankai. What is that? What is that travesty of a Bankai? And Ichigo's like, nah, and he instantly flashes towards Byakuya, blade down his throat, and I was like, wow, that was epic. And then not only does he not kill Byakuya, he steps back to show Byakuya like, I could have killed you, but I'm not. I'm gonna show you how strong I really am. And Byakuya looks at him and is like, uh, you should have killed me because now you're gonna
He
die.
was peacocking
Uh,
with his
uh,
bankai. He fucked up.
Exactly, exactly. So Byakuya sends all these flower petals at him. Um, he's dashing around the map at supersonic speed. And one of my favorite part about this fight is that build up, because he's taunting Byakuya. He's taunting Byakuya about how fast his Bankai is, and that and this scene is what, like, the part where he's talking about the speed is what makes this scene so good, is because if you remember previously in like the very first couple of episodes when Byakuya pops up to take Rukia back to the
Yeah.
Society, and Ichigo's about to like, okay, I'm gonna fight this guy, and Byakuya just like kills him in one hit because he moves so fast. That's the part where like we get back to the fight part where he's like, well, you thought you were fast back then? I'm even faster than you now. I think that's what makes this scene so
Yeah, it's
good.
like when a boxer gets knocked out, then he gets up, keeps on trying to fight, except he redeems himself later down the line. You know what else made this good?
What
Freaking Shiro Sagiso and his soundtrack, man. Bleach has some of the best music in all of anime, like just top shelf.
I have to 100% agree. Like Bleach, out of any anime, just has that. Uh, I like how the soundtrack has a bunch of like southern, like that southern Mexican twang to it. If like I don't know how to describe it, but like a lot of
He
terms
uses
in
a lot of
Bleach.
Latin flair along with rock.
Yeah. It has that awesome. Like it's probably also because of one of the characters. Like who's the guy with the giant fist? Chad, I think is his name.
Yeah,
Yeah. He
such a Chad.
so he's from. Yeah. I think like a lot of Bleach music and Bleach terminology have that Latin Spanish mix into it, and I think that's it really makes the anime stand out, and the music overall for that fight
Yeah.
was amazing. I don't know how else
Shiro
to describe it.
Sagisu is like him and Hiroyuki Sawano are like top my favorite two composers
Top
for
tier.
anime. Yeah.
Oh yeah, most
And
definitely. Um,
moving on for my last favorite anime moment, I'm going back
okay, go for it.
to the most known Evangelion or Evangelion, how I used to pronounce it until I heard other people pronounce it correctly. Do you
Okay,
remember when Ava Unit 1 goes berserk for the first time?
I do remember. I think it was like was it the first or second episode? I don't
Something
recall.
like that. It was very, you know,
It was like one of the first very like right when he gets into the
yeah.
mech. I do recall that. Yes.
He it has that going back to the trifecta again. Tremendous music. Characters reacting in disgust, like, oh, what the heck is happening? He's eating it? Oh, what? We didn't know he could eat. It's going to town having a buffet on this angel. And like Shinji's in there
Oh my gosh.
broken. He's not even having a good
He's
time.
not even like conscious.
Yeah. He's like, fucking
Oh,
stop it. Stop moving. He's like trying to move his little paddle shifters to make it stop eating, whatever the heck that is.
Right, right, right. Oh, actually, going back to the music. Oh my god, Ava just has that type of music where it gets stuck in. I remember because that drum, it's boom, boom,
Bum bum
boom.
bum
Uh,
boom.
uh,
I can't even tune it
it,
out, but you know what I mean.
I, yeah, 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 yeah. That drum line that builds up into the big fight. I remember, and I think one of like my favorite part about that scene is the Ava looks all normal, and then once that mouth appears, you know things are gonna get
And
hot.
it gets all neon-y, doesn't it? Like has stripes
It
of green 3M on it.
Oh yes, yes, yes,
Looks like a
yes.
jogger at
I
night.
forgot about that.
That was
Oh my god.
very nice.
I I think for that scene, I think a lot of people are gonna know that scene just because it's such a well-known anime.
Oh,
It's just a
absolutely.
well-known
It's on
scene.
Netflix. You could go watch it
And
now in high quality. That's a
I'm
plug.
surprised. I'm surprised Netflix was able to get
I
Ava.
hope they get the
That's very
movies.
surprising,
The last one.
huh? When it comes out of
Oh,
hiatus.
please. Oh, don't even. That's been like crushing me for years. Now I know how Star Wars fans feel.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna talk about my last favorite epic scene. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this
Lay it
so
on
much.
me.
Okay, this is from this is a two-parter. This is a
The
two-parter.
two-parter.
A two-parter epic scene. This is from Full Metal Alchemist, the original Full Metal Alchemist. Do you remember the part where he goes to take the state test to be an alchemist?
Yes. I think
Okay,
they make like a
so
stone horse or something like that, right?
no, no, no. So there's two parts of this test. The first part is like the
Hmm.
examination, where he gets into a room and he talks to these people about why he wants to be an alchemist, and they make him sit in this like three-legged chair that shouldn't have been stable or whatever. But that's not the scene I'm talking about. So during this test, they give you a bunch of these like raw base ingredients, and you're supposed to use these to show off how good of an alchemist you are. So so basically, he's watching all these people do like make these big items, big whatever, and one this one guy, he's grabbing a bunch of water, he's grabbing a bunch of wood, and Elric's looking at him like, what is he making? This is so weird. So the guy does his alchemy and he makes a giant air balloon, and it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome air balloon, except that it's not stable. It ruptures immediately and it flies off and it crashes into this giant tower someone else made, and this tower is about to collapse and literally kill a bunch of people. And what makes this scene awesome is that no one knew um, that he could do alchemy without a circle. So he claps his hand and he turns this whole disaster into like a giant flower petal, like a bunch of flower petals in the sky. Um, and that scene alone was awesome. But let me go into the
Okay.
second scene. Let me go into the second scene. The second scene is when everyone's super happy about him. He uh so he goes home to Dr. Tucker, and you know the scene I'm
Oh,
talking about.
jeez.
He goes home to Dr. Tucker, and he finds out that Tucker has made a new
Oh,
chimera,
the best chimera. Blue ribbon.
the best chimera, and oh, this I and he finds out that the chimera, like he's like, oh yeah, I'm really happy that you were able to make this chimera. He's like, yeah, yeah, I'm happy too. And then he's trying to figure out where
Nina?
his daughter and the dog is. Nina, yeah. And then he finds out that like the chimera is talking to him, and then he gets a flashback that this chimera sounds exactly like Nina. And you know exactly
Oh yeah. This is very
this seed is the heart. It's the heart cruncher. It's
infamous.
the heart cruncher. It is infamous. So this seed alone, it goes from like the tippy top of like how awesome a seed can be to the very bottom of how like
Yeah, I
excruciating,
remember
like
watching that
heart
and
wrenching.
feeling that in my gut. That was depressing.
Oh my! It it was extra
Pin
depressing
drop.
because they went through this awesome scene at the very start, where he passes the alchemy exam. He passes the alchemy exam. He goes home to celebrate, just to find out that Tucker turned Nina into
Chimera.
what
An
was it again? A
abomination,
chimera.
really. Dude, you know what my
And he
favorite part of that, sorry to cut you off,
Yeah, go for
that
it.
my favorite trope in anime is when they don't need to do a transmutation circle, they don't need a wand to cast magic, they don't need an incantation to cast a spell, stuff like that. That's when you know that
Right.
the main character's next level, like, oh, he's gonna pull out some really good spicy moves in the rest of the show.
But what I don't like about stuff like that is when there's no exchange. But clearly there was an exchange for him
Of
to get that
course.
power. Yeah, of course. If you haven't watched the anime, I don't know why you haven't. It's so old, but definitely watch
You
it. I
were
don't want to give
talking
any
about the
spoilers away at this
original
point.
FMA, right? Not Brotherhood?
Not Brotherhood, but the original kind of it is kind of the same through kind of near the
Mhm.
beginning, and then it diverges.
Definitely. I would just
Um,
watch Brotherhood though. Brotherhood was so much
yeah,
better.
just watch Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have to say that the opening and closing for I guess both of them had really good opening and closing.
Yeah. Full Metal
Yeah,
Alchemist
I mean
never
hands
had
down.
a bad opening or an ending.
Uh, like their worst opening or closing is probably some other animes like top tier opening and
Oh,
closing.
for sure.
Oh yeah, they had great opening and closing, but oh my god, and to top it off with that scene, I think like um I don't remember what happened after that, but they left, and the and Nina the Chimera was left to wander whatever. She runs into Scar, and Scar instantly kills her. They don't show it on screen, but of course he kills her. And I'm like, should I feel happy or should I feel sad about this? You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
she could have still lived as a chimera. Maybe Edward could have thrown
Uh,
her,
she was feeling very painful.
yeah,
I
it was
That's
mercy
why
killing.
that
Scar
a
wasn't
mercy kill. Yeah,
necessarily a bad guy in the end of it, but I don't want to say more of that because it might spoil. Even though it's
right,
super old.
right. It is. So I definitely give that it a watch. But those were all of my scenes.
Same for me.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's
Uh,
really it. I would recommend watching any of these shows, with the exception to Knights and Magic. That's really, if you're truly chasing the dragon to feel something extra. If you've already gone through
if
those
if
other
you just want
shows.
epic
Yeah,
scenes,
exactly.
it's just yeah. You just want epic scenes. You just want to watch something like extra in the background. You just want epic scenes. Knights and Magic is it's kind of there. Uh, would you recommend watching it all the way through, or just probably the first half?
I just skip it entirely.
Just don't watch it at
Yeah.
all. I mean, I'll
You
recommend it
can
as a
watch up
watch.
until
Just
that scene. It doesn't really get better than that for me, though. That was like the pinnacle of the show.
it does kind of get. I wouldn't say it gets better than that scene, but I remember the part where he unveils his samurai mech, and that was pretty cool. But I wouldn't say it's
It
cooler than
wasn't
that
as good
scene.
as the first.
Nah, nah, nah. I'm. You know what? Just watch the anime. Watch the
Make your
anime, and
choice.
then yeah, make your choice. But overall, I think that was pretty good. I guess we'll wrap it up here for now. I think that's pretty much it. Anything
No,
else?
that's all.
All right, we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.